we've been told that we're known for our generosity. We're very generous. Now, that's only to say that part of our purpose is supporting others, and we've shared that many, many times. But there comes a time where, over the years, we've learned certain lessons that our generosity is not necessarily serving somebody else,
or us,
but it's not serving us. So this is what showed up, and it was this was kind of cool. So, the first time you create something or give something to somebody for free, and maybe a gift, right? So you give it to them for free, and there is a lot of appreciation. That's really what it is. Now, the philosophy, and I tend to agree with this philosophy, by the way, as we work through it, is the next time you go to give them a gift, there's anticipation.
Yeah, there's excitement. So think about it: generosity, excitement.
Yeah. Well, I guess that maybe with grandkids, right? You give them a gift the first time they get the gift from, their grandma and grandpa. It's like, it's really, really anticipation. It turns into anticipation from appreciation. So, first time it's appreciation, then it's anticipation. The third time it becomes a bit of an expectation.
Yes.
And the thing about that is that if you're not giving it the right context, which is what happens, is the fourth time it becomes entitlement.
Ooh.
And we've seen this start to happen. We've had these experiences in our life. And the fifth time it becomes dependency. And that happens because it all gets normalized.
Yeah, good point.
Right? Dependency, what I call dependency through normalization. And then when you stop giving, guess what happens?
Anger?
Well, anger and resentment.
Oh.
Because you've set up that normalization.
Set up the expectation.
Yes, you've set up the dependency. Aside from expectation, it's now turned into dependency. They're counting on it, whatever it is. And so it's something to be aware of. And we've got caught a couple of times. And when this showed up, it was in a feed somewhere that came up and went, yeah, no, this is true. We've actually had this happen. So
let's start again. So think about giving.
Give something for free. It's
give it for free. Full on, no expectations.
We have a very fundamental philosophy on that. It's not rocket science. And that is that giving and receiving is the same thing. So the first time is appreciation. Yeah. The next time is anticipation. Right? Third time can turn into an expectation. The fourth time is you're creating entitlement. The fifth time you're creating dependency through the normalization of it. The problem is the sixth point that we add is that when you don't give, when you show up and you don't have that gift in hand, it turns into resentment. A little bit of anger. And that's because it's become about dependency.
Wow.
Counting on it.
Yep.
So a little bit of wisdom there.
Okay. So funny story.
Go ahead.
Just a quick real life analogy. So our grandkids, for example, my dad and brother, like we're all about silver and gold and contribution and toonies and loonies. So when the kids were little, we used to give them coins. Like we don't buy presents, for example. We don't like buy toys. We give them coins or toonies or loonies. So every time we would see them, we would give them, or at Christmas in their stocking, we would give them toonies or maybe a little silver coin or something. So one thing leads to another. They continue to come over, and every time my dad or my brother or us will always give the kids some coins. It's really fun. Then the third time, it started to become an expectation. And you know what Erin did, our daughter? She's so smart. When the kids said, Grandpapa or Papa, which is you, where's my money? Do you have money? She said, sweetheart, don't ask. She broke the cycle. It was so smart because what was happening was she understood or somehow intuitively knew that cycle was going to end up with expectation. And then if it didn't happen, it would end up in resentment.
Yeah. And so, it's kids, right? So,
and they're kids. They don't have that.
Sure.
But if we do that with adults, for example, and
Mm,
we're over generous and we continue to give and overgive, which is I'm guilty of, is that it turns into one, without
totally.
breaking the pattern.
100%. 100%.
Yeah,
So you got to, we have to own it. We have to own our own generosity and know that that's what can happen. Okay. Final topic. I
okay.
want to kind of go through these because this is kind of like I say, this is how the week unfolded.
We did.
Now, we shared that we were in Toronto, and one of the coaching programs we do is entrepreneurial think tank, and it's just a small group of people that got together, and they were so coachable. They were very open. We had some amazing conversations. I think, well, not I think, we they shared just how much value they got out of that session. It was an all day session, the evening before and the all day. And what I got to with all of that is I kind of made notes about why would you need a coach? Like, or why do you think that where are you in your life? Now, here's the fundamental is that you need some support, and the need to change has to get to you're very frustrated with where you are right now and you can't take it anymore. In the brief conversation we had, I think you said when the pain of being where you are is
Is greater
greater than the pain of
of
how
letting
you see
go.
the change, you will in fact make that change. So that's the first thing, right? Is you have to be so frustrated or so in discomfort and just go, I can't take it anymore. I need to move on. I need help. I need support. Secondly, is you need to be brave enough to take it on because with change, you have to be brave enough to face one of the key things that people have to face is the fear of judgment by friends, by family, by peers, whatever that is. When you start to change, when you start to show up differently, there's that fear of judgment. And you have to really be brave enough to, number one, be prepared to face that and to admit that you are where you're at and that you need or want more, but you're going to do more in order to have more. So you have to be able to and be brave enough to demand more of yourself. That would be the second point. Third point is you have to be disciplined to do the work. You have to be prepared to work and to make the change because none of it's easy. You got to break patterns. You got to be really conscious of how you're thinking and how we get caught in those thought processes that we have. And we keep going back to what's comfortable, even though we know it's not serving us, we're familiar with it. So, in other words, you have to be disciplined enough to get uncomfortable and to do the work to go to the next level. So, those are kind of my three fundamental lessons about change, about why you might need some form of mentorship or coaching to get outside of yourself. So, anything you want to add to that?
You're hilarious. Yes,
Oh,
is that you run into the big wall of Stephanie. That's what I tell my clients is that they keep telling me their story over and over again, and I just let
mm,
them tell it,
yeah,
and then they run into the big wall of Stephanie.
yeah,
And you know what? Until you wanna change, like, we've been through that ourselves, hon, is that until we wanna change and change our thoughts, which is the hardest thing, and, like, I'm a huge fan of Joe Dispenza, and if anybody wants to listen and really kinda go into some of the ways of changing your thoughts, there is a way to do that, and it's funny, in our shift program, we actually literally shift
hmm,
our clients' thinking
yeah.
because we've had to shift our thinking in
By
order to
design, by
by
design.
design,
Yeah,
on purpose,
yeah,
right?
intentional. Yep.
It's intentional and it's not easy, and I think about all the things that we've done and the growth that we've had over the years and which circles us back to the beginning of this podcast is that, change and letting go is all part of it, and when we get to this point, do you have the skill set to let go in order to shift into the change that you need to do to create a new open future, a new opportunity, something that's fresh, something that does is not attached to the past? 'Cause that's the thing, right? Is our memories are designed for self-preservation. So
Mhm.
our memories and our commitment is generally about the past. And what I love about our conversations is about, are we willing to take people on a journey of honoring the past and then taking that leap, or taking that, it doesn't even have to be a big leap. It taking a step into not knowing, into the unknown, and going, "Okay, I'm ready to let go of what was so painful, to being in a space of what's less painful, but more fulfilling and more nurturing and maybe even more productive."
Hopefully more productive. That's always what it's about, isn't it?